Hello once again, and today I have a very excellent chess game that I played. I'm playing black pieces, he's playing white, and I'm not sure what this defense is called. It may not be called anything, but anyway. It starts out pawn e4. I respond with pawn to e6, looking to do the French defense. He pushes his pawn up. I continue with d5. Now, he does an end move here, and this is a legal move. I think it's called an onslaught or something like that. And it looks like this. It's totally legal. If a pawn goes past a pawn, it can do that. And if it ever moves 2 spaces. So anyway, I decided to take with my bishop, and the reason why that was such a bad idea for him to do that, because if you look at this bishop, it's a very good spot. It's eyeing down the weakness of h2 if the king were to castle on the king's side. That's the checkmate move right there. So it's looking pretty good. He develops his knight, looking like he's going to castle over there. I also decide to develop my knight. He develops his knight on the other side. I castle. He's getting ready to finish out his bishop, which if he does castle on the queen side, I kind of want to be prepared to attack there as well. So I decided to do that, develop some attackers over there. He does so as well, and I decided I'll do the same thing. He brings his bishop up, and it looks like he's going to castle on the king side, which is even better, because now this bishop is excellently placed across this whole diagonal and attacking the other weakness of the king if he were to castle. See, that's why people need to pay attention to the other person's pieces. I mean, yes, it is true that his bishop over here is attacking my weakness over here, but it's okay because I can easily avoid this by simply moving a pawn up or something like that. So right now he needs to pay attention to exactly how many attackers are on each side, so you don't want to castle on a side where all my pieces are facing that direction. I mean, even my knights are facing that direction. I mean, come on now. So he decides to castle, and I just continue with my attack. Now, if you notice here, I have 2 attackers on the weakness I was talking about earlier. So he needs to really pay attention to what's going on. And if he does decide so first I need to do something about this knight. He moves up the board with the pawn, and the idea behind this is because my next move would have been to bring my knight up to here, forcing his knight to move, but now he can attack with his queen. So that was the idea behind that. Personally, I think knight to b5 would have been a better choice, because not only are you attacking my bishop, now pretty much can't go anywhere. Like I could move up my bishop, but then he could just chase it around. It's not going to be very pretty. So I think that would have been a better move on his part. I decided to bring my queen, continuing my development, connecting my rooks, also adding another attacker, because now that queen can attack if I were to take with my knight, and that won't be good for me. He decides to move up, which I think was kind of pointless. Doesn't do anything. When people push up with their pawns, I just don't know what they're thinking. Like, that's not going to do anything. So, whenever people push up with my pawns, you never want to push up a pawn to attack a knight, because a knight can just hop right over. It's not really a threat. So that's exactly what I do. And now he decides to move his knight, attacking my queen, and also a discovered attack on my knight, which is actually bad news for me, because it's kind of putting a dent in my plans. So I decided to move my queen up to g4 instead of e5, and the reason why is because if he were to take with that knight, then I have to worry about that. I mean, even though I could just come up and take the knight, I don't want to have to worry about that. So either way, it really wouldn't have mattered now that I look at it. Going back. Now, here's the thing. I could easily, push up my knight. If he were to take with his knight, I move up here, it's checkmate, but I'm pretty sure he's aware of this and he wouldn't fall for that. I'm pretty sure he would easily counter this. I mean, he would be sacrificing a piece, but, he would know how to get out of this. So I decided to, I want to guarantee this win right now. And I decided to do a move which I think was the best move. The best move, in my opinion, is this. Why is this such a good move? Well, I'll tell you why. Thank you for asking. Now I'm attacking this weakness. If this knight were to move, I'm attacking this weakness. And you're probably thinking, well, if your querying move is there, the king's just going to take. Well, this bishop over here, a b7, is eyeing down that weakness. So if I can get rid of these these pieces right here, that's going to be great. And you always want to have a situation where if you can get their pieces to move, like you don't want to just want them to move. Like this is set up so if he were to take, that would be fine. If this knight were to take once I bring my knight here, that's fine too, because then it's checkmate. So you always want to have a situation where you can actually get rid of pieces, on their terms. You don't, if you could force them to move their pieces, which is even harder. But if you can put it in a situation, it's like, oh, hey, look, here's my pawn. You can take it if you want it. It's right there, looking all sexy. So, Anyway. All right, so he decides to attack my queen, which is totally fine because that's just allowing me to clear the spot. And now he decides to attack my knight. So what would you think would be game over move checkmate? It's this move. And like I said earlier, he needs to be really careful how he deals with this. If he moves his king, okay, I am just going to attack his rook. Actually, I'd probably attack his knight instead. I think that'd be a better choice. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, if I were to attack his knight, he would take with his pawn, and then, if I were to do, queen take, he can just take with his queen. So that would actually be a pretty good move. So that's why I would probably take with, just go ahead and take the rook. If he decides to, maybe move the rook, which maybe would be a good idea, I would take the knight, he would do this, and then would have that situation. So he needs to be really careful, and I don't know if you guys already, what would you do in this situation, because he did the worst of all of them. He took the knight, which people maybe ask, why is that so bad? Well, checkmate. And don't forget about this bishop over here. So whenever, I guess what I want to say is that you always want to keep in mind how many attackers you have on each side, and whenever a king castles on that side, I usually just focus all my attacks on this side. As you can see, I used all my pieces minus my rooks to attack the king's side. So, alright everyone, hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.